Hey everyone, Garrett here from Code the Web, and welcome back to our WordPress series. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the WordPress settings and discussing the best way to set them up initially so that you can be set up for success throughout your WordPress career or throughout your WordPress website experience or whatever project you are currently or in the future going to be working on. So let's get started. We're going to start off by just going down here and clicking on settings. And once we do that, we're going to be taken to the general settings page. Quick note. The settings that we have here are, the settings that we have here by default, I should say, are general, writing, reading, discussion, media, and permalinks. We're going to be talking about all those in detail. However, I just want to go over those really quick because it is worth noting that once you start installing more plugins and more themes, you will have more sections under the settings tab. So starting off, we have the site title. This, if you guys may remember, we chose or decided on or typed in when we actually did the installation process. It asked us for the site title. You can change it here at any time that you might like. I'm going to keep it Code the Web. And actually for the tagline, which is I guess would be like your slogan, we're going to do design UX front end. Perfect. We've got that. Now website address URL, that is the URL that this website can be found at. We're not going to change that because I did it by accident one time in the past and it kind of messed up things. So we're not going to do that. This is the email address. This is the email address that we actually provided, but you can always change it. This is for admin purposes like user notifications and things like that. We're going to keep it garrett@icodetheweb.com. Membership. So WordPress, one of the things that's really cool is that you can kind of create a member website where people can log in and comment and be part of the conversation, and there are plugins where you can actually create a whole social network and do all kinds of really cool, awesome, crazy things. So this membership checkbox allows people to register depending on what you do with your WordPress website and what plugins you use and incorporate with your website will determine what exactly they're able to do once they log in or register. By default, I believe it's just for comments and things like that. We are not going to check this off because while going over and creating our WordPress website, a lot of I don't know if they're robots or if they're people that just sit on their computer all day and just register on anonymous or random people's websites, but you're going to start getting a ton of just fake users that you don't want that aren't really doing anything for you, and they just kind of take up server resources and they just kind of ruin the whole flow. So we're going to leave that unchecked. When we're done developing the entire website, that's when you can check that off and then allow people to register. So what is the new default user role? You can be a subscriber, a contributor, an author, an editor, or an administrator, and we're going to go over these user roles in a later video when we talk about users. The time zone, we can just find it. We're going to be New York, there we go. We're going to be in New York because that is in the same time zone as us. And now the date format, we're going to leave it at December 27th, 2015. You can choose whatever date format you want as well at the time. We're going to leave it at that. The week starts on, this would depend on whether or not you're going to go by business days or just by regular days. I guess we'll keep it on business days. No reason not to. That is the default. And then the selected language, we selected this when we went through the installation process. We're going to keep it on English. We're going to hit save settings, and now we're going to move on to writing. So the default post category is uncategorized. The reason that's the only option right now is because we haven't created any new categories because we haven't gotten to posts yet, but that is where you would choose the default category. So for example, when you would go to make a new post, you would automatically have uncategorized checked off as the category versus something else that you might want to make it. The default post format is standard. We're going to leave it at that because, that's the aside. That's the tag we talked about in a previous video. But you can have, there's a lot of different kinds of posts you can have. For example, audio, videos, statuses, quotes, things like that. We're going to leave it at standard. That's what I found works best. You can actually post things on your WordPress blog via email. So you would email whatever it is you want to make it that you would email, and it would get posted to your website. So we're just going to leave that. I don't use it. I've never used it, but it is available. Okay, so reading settings. The reading settings, front page displays. Okay, so this is really cool. This is kind of how WordPress starts to become not just a blogging platform, but also a fully functional and ridiculously powerful CMS content management system that you can use to create beautiful, amazing, stunning, and very, very functional websites. This is basically saying, do you want the homepage to be the latest posts? So for example, when someone goes to your website, it's going to just be a blog. That's going to be your homepage, is your blog basically. Or you can have a static page, which we could check off sample page. This would be like when you have more pages, you'd have to make them more pages first and then come back to do this. You could have a static page that you can create, which we'll talk about in a later video, and that can serve as your homepage. So now this is kind of how WordPress starts to become more than just a blogging platform, because you can have a portfolio page be your homepage, and then have a blog, your personal blog, be somewhere else, or be the blog page, you know what I mean? And then, so that would be the front page, and then posts page, usually you might want to make a page called blog and a page called home. You would make the front page home, and you'd make the blog page or the posts page blog, and that's posts. So that's kind of where WordPress starts to become way more than just a blogging platform. For now, we're just going to keep it the latest post, because we don't have the pages yet to be able to make it another page and have a posts page like a blog. So we're just going to keep it the post right now. And then when we go do the pages, then we can come back and switch this. Blog pages to show at most, we can do 10. We can just leave this all pretty much the way it is. This is how many pages we want to show and how many posts we want to show on each page, and the number of pages that we want to go back, like when you're going back to other pages and whatnot. Syndication fee, we're going to leave that on 10. That's the number of posts. And then for each article in a feed, we're going to show either full text or a summary. We're going to leave it at full text. If you have insanely long articles, you might want to make it a summary. That's up to you. My articles aren't really that long. They never were. Hopefully they never will be. So you can keep it. I'm going to keep it on full text. You can do whatever you want. And then this was asked of us before in the installation process: search engine visibility. Discourage search engines from indexing this site. That has to do with SEO. If you do want to do that, it does say it right here. This is up to search engines to honor this request. I don't know if all search engines honor this or which ones do and which ones don't, but just because you check this off doesn't mean it's going to work the way you think it will. Okay, so discussion settings. Let's take a look at all this stuff. We got default article settings, so attempt to notify any blogs linked from the article. We'll leave that checked off. Allow link notifications from other blogs, such as pingbacks. We're going to check that off because that has to do with server resources. Allow people to post comments on new articles. Yes, that is the point of perhaps signing up for our website. We want people to be able to do that. And now, other comment settings. Comment author must fill out name and email. We can leave that checked. Users must be registered and logged in to comment. We're going to check that off because otherwise there is no reason to sign up for the website, and we want people to sign up. Automatically close comments on articles older than 14 days. Doesn't really make a difference whether you do that or not. Enable threaded nested comments, 5 levels deep. Sure, why not? So kind of like how on Reddit, like people can reply and whatnot. So that's what that is. Break comments into pages with 50 top level comments per page. Yes, we're going to do that. And I think that would make sense, because then what happens is when the article loads or when the page loads, instead of loading, let's say there's 500 comments, right? Instead of loading a page with 500 comments, it's going to load one page with only 50 comments, and then it's going to kind of have other pages so that it'll be less for the server to have to load, and I think it'll make the website go faster. But that's only once you get to like 50 comments. But if you don't have 50 comments, it doesn't really make a difference. Of course, you could change it to be 10 comments or whatever you want. Email me whenever anyone makes a new post. No. A comment is held for moderation. Yeah, that probably makes sense. And we don't want to get emails all the time about stuff that we don't really care about, so that's why I checked that off. Before a comment appears, comment must be manually approved. No, we don't want to have to manually approve every single comment, because in theory we want to have a lot of viewers on our site, so we definitely don't want to have to approve every single comment manually. Comment author must have previously approved comment. No, because we're not approving them manually, so that wouldn't make any sense. Comment moderation. So these two things right here, comment moderation and comment blacklist, are basically a way for you to kind of limit what people can say in their comments. So if they use 2 or more links, it's the possibility that it's spam. and also when they use certain words, curse words maybe, or any other words that you think might be spam, then you could put those words there, and it would limit them from using those words in their comments. So avatar is pretty much the profile picture. We actually are not going to show avatars, but if we did, just to say, the maximum rating by default is G. Depending on the website, you can change that. And then also, what is the default? It's called Gravatar, which is the avatar system that WordPress uses. This is what it is by default. You might have seen it. We're not going to use avatars because that means that the server has to load one more thing. And if you have a lot of articles or a lot of comments, that means there's going to be a lot of those little images that the server is going to have to load. And we don't want to do that because that puts more load on the server, which ultimately will make it run slower. Now, media, this, you can pretty much leave this all as it is, the default settings. This is just how big the thumbnail sizes are going to be for articles and stuff like that, and then what the medium size is, what the large size is, and then uploading files, organize my photos into a month, year. That just makes it a lot easier. So we're just going to save, even though we didn't change anything, and we'll just let that go. Now, permalinks. So this is pretty important because it has to do with, one, SEO, which is really important, and two, the ease of how easy it is for people to find certain pages. So for example, if you were to say go to icodetheweb.com/hello, and it was a page saying hello, welcoming you to Code the Web and talking about what it is, I wouldn't want to say like go to icodetheweb.com/2015/12/27/sample post, because that's what the page name was called, sample post, for example, or the post name, and then the when it was published. You'd want to go to post name. So we're going to check off post name instead of day and time, or instead of plain, which is something that WordPress makes up, or really instead of anything else. You want to say post name, because that means that they will be able to go to icodetheweb.com/hello versus $P=123 or whatever the other ones of these things are. So that's why you definitely want to change permalinks. This is actually, this right here is why I wanted to do settings before I started going down the list of post media pages. So that's why we jumped all the way down to settings, because I wanted to establish this so that when we go through and start making posts and creating pages, we've already got this done, and you guys can just easily go to the pages and check them out. But also, so you'll know, this is one of the more important things that you should do. So we're changing that, and the optional stuff is the category base and tag base. This is not really something that we have to do. I believe it just changes these names here or something like that, but at any rate, don't worry about it. It's not really important. I thought that was really important that we go through all of those things kind of in one video, not to separate them out, because you guys don't want to wait a whole other week to see what happens in writing when you just saw what happens in the general section. So that's why I wanted to do that. If you learned something from this video and you're enjoying this series as it happens so far, definitely subscribe, rate, comment, all that great stuff. And also like us on Facebook and Twitter. We do have new Facebook and Twitter pages, so make sure you do that. Links will be in the description. And as always, thank you for watching. And be sure to check out the website, because we launched that in the new year. So that's codethew.com. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Definitely subscribe and share these videos. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Peace.